Bayrou faces near certain defeat in a confidence vote, just 9 months into the job. His controversial €44 billion austerity budget has united opposition parties against his minority government. François Bayrou calls the country's debt crisis an urgent matter, where our very survival is at stake. Ahead of a confidence vote expected to topple his government, Bayrou defends his tough budget and says that he wanted this to be a test of truth to face the nation's challenges head on. Let's listen in to what the French Prime Minister François Bayrou had to say.
Cette épreuve de vérité, comme chef du gouvernement, avec l'assentiment du président de la République, je l'ai voulu. Mais tout cela, toutes ces questions sont aujourd'hui soumises à la question dont tout dépend, à la question vitale, d'urgence vitale, où notre pronostic vital est engagé, dont dépend notre État, notre indépendance, nos services publics, notre modèle social. C'est la question de la maîtrise de nos dépenses, la question du surendettement. Votre soutien, l'accord minimal sans lequel je ne pourrais pas poursuivre ma mission, je le demande à l'Assemblée nationale sur un seul point, mais décisif, le constat de la situation du pays.
Meanwhile, National Rally MP Julien Audeul says there is no choice but to return to the ballot box. He warns the country is losing valuable time, needed to get back on track. Cyrielle Chatelain, leader of the Green and Socialist group, says there is no suspense as Prime Minister Bayrou is expected to fall in tonight's confidence vote. She adds that with his main ally gone, President Macron will have no choice but to appoint a left-wing government. Let's listen in to what Julien Audeul, the National Rally MP, and Cyrielle Chatelain, the leader of the Green and Socialist group in the National Assembly, have stated.
Je pense que la démocratie est une très belle idée et je pense que les Français attendent de pouvoir changer de politique. Ils ont été floués au moment des dernières législatives. On leur a volé un changement qui était espéré. Rappelez-vous ces alliances contre nature entre les macronistes et l'extrême gauche, c'est-à-dire l'alliance de tous les partis qui sont responsables du chaos que nous subissons, qu'il soit budgétaire, qu'il soit financier, qu'il soit social, qu'il soit migratoire. Ils se sont tous coalisés contre le seul parti qui n'a aucune responsabilité dans la situation apocalyptique de notre pays. Nous disions aux Français que nous avons les solutions et surtout nous disons au président de la République qu'il n'y a pas d'autre choix que le retour aux urnes pour débloquer la situation. Tous les autres tours de passe-passe, la nomination d'un autre Premier ministre du bloc central, finalement aura la même conséquence, c'est-à-dire la chute dans quelques semaines ou quelques mois, et nous perdons déjà beaucoup de temps pour redresser notre pays.
Disons-le tout de suite, c'est un vote sans suspense. François Bayrou tombera ce soir. Il devra remettre sa démission au président de la République. Et cela ne soulèvera ni regret ni tristesse. La seule question qui sera en débat cet après-midi, c'est celle de la suite. Pour le groupe écologiste et social, c'est extrêmement clair. La première chose à faire, c'est de rétablir le barrage républicain que nous avons vu dans les urnes. Et alors que Bruno Retailleau a fait son coming out d'extrême droite ce week-end, on voit bien qu'il a choisi son camp et que tout travail avec les LR devient impossible, je l'espère, y compris pour le camp gouvernemental. La deuxième chose, eh bien, quand son principal partenaire s'en va, il ne restera plus qu'une solution à Emmanuel Macron, c'est enfin de nommer la gauche.
Emmanuel Macron now faces a tough choice: appoint a 7th Prime Minister or risk snap elections. Meanwhile, public support is plummeting, with 64% of French voters saying that he should resign. Tensions are rising ahead of planned nationwide strikes, while Macron eyes possible cooperation with the Socialist Party to break the gridlock. We are now joined by our guest, Alexander Ciel. He's a French journalist and he joins us live from London. Alexander, thank you very much for joining us here on the programme. Alexander, first of all, how likely is it that Bayrou does lose this no confidence tonight? Is it as obvious as his opposition say it is? And also, what implications does that have for French President Emmanuel Macron?
Yes, so it is likely that François Bayrou would leave tonight after the vote because opposition parties across the spectrum, from right to left to far right, all said that they will vote him out. So even if he somehow survives, which I don't think he will, he'd be too weak to govern properly, and every vote would become a struggle, and there is a crisis in France, so the crisis will simply drag on. But what does it mean? What will happen later? So Emmanuel Macron, the French president, will have to name another prime minister, his fifth prime minister. One has to note that in December 2024, the former prime minister, Michel Barnier, he left after the confidence vote. He was thrown out by MPs. So there are a few names for potential prime ministers. The finance minister called Éric Lombard, he's someone who can speak to the left and to the right. And there was a Green Party MP who said that Macron needs to name someone from the left. And Bernard Cazeneuve, a former prime minister and under François Hollande, could be the next prime minister. So all options are for Emmanuel Macron. But I don't think he will dissolve the National Assembly. He already did that last year, and he says he will still remain president until 2027.
Yes, and Alexander, how is the French public feeling about Emmanuel Macron, and how is the public feeling in general about their government? We just read a statistic out which claimed that 64% of the French public think that Macron should resign. We've obviously seen the rise of Marine Le Pen and her national rally dominating international headlines. Where does the public stand now, Alexander?
Yes, the public, they're frustrated, they're angry. There is a national protest on the 10th of September, and on the 18th of September, there are more strikes too. And polls, they show nearly 2/3 of voters want fresh elections. So they want Macron to either dissolve the National Assembly, have elections. But I think with the rise of the far right, they're likely to gain more seats, but they won't have the majority in the National Assembly. So it's all back to square one after, if Macron dissolves the National Assembly, or people want fresh presidential elections. But Macron will stay on until 2027. Many feel that the political class, they're stuck in its own battles and they don't listen to them because there's high debt in France, inflation, and falling trust in institutions. So there, as I said, there are protests and strikes that are planned. So the pressure is on the political system. So it'll be interesting to see how Macron can understand that.
Alexander Sial, thank you very much for joining us here on the programme. Of course, we will bring you all updates when it comes round to that no